And my concern is that if we go ahead and give the positions here,
Wasn't we?
well,
we? Let's be clear about that. Wasn't we? Okay.
Majority of the board. The majority of the board. And so I am in agreement that the hiring freeze should stay in place.
Okay.
See, but Mr. Chairman, if I may, on that very note, because I'm definitely not a we in that one, we spent more money using a consultant than what we would have spent if we'd have hired somebody. I mean, let's talk about fiscal responsibility. That was a fiscal responsibility issue. That's all we need to look at. In Mrs. Carter's case, it seems to be the same thing. Are we going to lose money? Are we going to spend more money? That's all it comes down to for me.
You're not going to lose any money. DMV is not going to take any of the money that they've given to the county this year. Mrs. Carter, the way I see it, is going to have other members on her staff to fill in. As I talked to Mrs. Carter yesterday morning, we had a long conversation early yesterday morning. As I said to her, are you going to tell me that come next week, you're not going to man your front desk where the DMV person takes in the applications and takes in from the particular processes that are transacted there?
But see,
I think she's going to have someone that
but just by definition, if there is an employee who does one particular job, 40 hours a week, really 50, but we pay them for 40, and I understand that. That one employee does that 40-hour job. Now that employee only spends 36 hours on that job because half a day a week they're at the front desk. What's happening to the productivity of that other 4 hours? That's what I'm saying. We're going to lose money on this. Somewhere.
She's going to have someone sitting at the front desk, and what are they going to be doing while they're sitting at the front desk?
We're going to fulfill our duties, but it's going to mean more weights for people, and it's going to make our state income division is going to have to slow down.
I understand. The board is looking at a budget that's going to be presented tonight that under the very best of circumstances, after all the cuts and after all the things that we've done, looking at Mr. Pardon is going to recommend a real estate tax increase, and he's going to recommend a personal property tax rate increase to this board tonight in his budget that he's going to present. Now, being fiscally conservative, I have to look at that very strongly as to, are we going to continue to say we're going to increase? And we're still not going to be able to fund a lot of the programs and departments that we'd like to fund. Mr. Taylor.
Could I ask Ms. Carter a question?
Sure.
Ms. Carter, the funds for this position, you get $30,000 and it's split 15 between your office and 15 between DMV. All right, so
It's split between the commissioner's office and the treasurer's
so
office.
is that 15,000 towards the salary of this individual?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If you don't hire this individual, you still get the 15,
We'll still get it.
even if you don't hire them.
We have to do the work.
Okay.
We
okay.
have
But
to do the work.
Okay. And the salary for this individual is 18,000 or 18 something?
25.
25,000. All right. Plus the benefits.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that would be 10 plus the benefits.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I guess my concern is, and I know it's difficult, but I have a real concern about the citizens and the wait time. When they go into these offices, a lot of times they have to wait. And we could sit here and say, we're not going to fund this position and split that work up among the employees that are already in that office. But that means when a citizen comes in there and they're in a hurry, they're going to have to stay that much longer, and they're going to become dissatisfied. So I guess it comes down to quality of life issue. And personally, if there's $15,000 there for that particular position, and can you find the money in your budget for the rest of it, or are you going to come back to us for it? Okay.
She said it was currently budgeted
Okay.
position,
Okay.
not a new
Okay.
position.
Okay.
The hiring freeze is the question. That is the question that's on the table tonight, is the fact that this board want to maintain the hiring freeze that we implemented 2 meetings ago until June 30th, or do we want to remove the hiring freeze and say to the department heads, hire whoever it is that you, or replace whoever it is that you lose. This board made a decision 2 meetings ago to say, in order to try to save money and to have a larger year-end balance to carry forward to the next year, that we were going to put a hiring freeze in place and asked all departments to reduce their budgets by 2% of the remaining funds they had in their budgets. And that was to help build a larger year-end balance, if you will. And that's the question that's before this board tonight.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
and
Thomas.
Underwood, that was better than
Better
what I've
than
been called
Taylor, right?
before, yeah. I mean, when you look at it, and there's a difference, you know, I said before, fiscal responsibility, which is different than fiscal conservative. But we're talking about $25,000, and it's less than 3 months before June 30th, or a little more. So we're talking 1/4 of that salary, which is $6,000. Now, the other request is...
We're not talking about dollars. No, I'm not going to allow you to keep on, because
No,
we're not
let me
talking
finish.
about dollars.
It's-
We're talking about the freeze versus not having the freeze in place.
But
'Cause
that
I
comes
can-
down to dollars.
No,
The
wait a
freeze-
minute.
the
Wait,
reason for the
time
freeze
out.
is dollars,
Time out.
right?
Time out. The
Okay.
fact is, every department head in county government, without question, I believe anybody can come back and say,
Well-
I need to replace a position that I have lost.
And that was...
And that's the issue. It has nothing to do with the money.
No,
It has
but
to do with the hiring freeze that we put in place, which will, in
what's the
essence,
reason
save
for the
money.
hiring freeze?
To save money.
So money came back. So if we talk about
the-
money now, that gets back to the hiring freeze.
Well, if we allow the positions to be paid, you're not getting the money back. We're trying to
But-
build the year-end balance.
Okay, can I finish where I was going?
Well,
I know you
if
knew
you'll
where I
take a
was
few
going.
minutes. If
I
you'll
mean, I
take
know
just a
you-
few minutes.
But the point is, we're talking about $6,000 for her. We're talking about the sheriff with a vacant position he wants to refill.
Yes.
We're talking about part-time people. How much are we talking about? That was my question. How much money are we talking about saving? Because you may say, or we may say, in this particular case, we think we should fill these 3 positions, or 4, whatever they are, but no more. Are we going to save $10,000 for doing this, $15,000? Is that worth the inconvenience of what may happen with other issues? That's all my question is. I didn't want to debate you.
Right.
Not that I don't enjoy that, but I didn't want to debate you about that. That's the real issue.
Okay. Let us,
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion?
please, go ahead and make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we rescind the hiring freeze for the remainder of the fiscal year 2011 through 2012.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
The motion been made, Mr. Underwood, second by Mr. Taylor, that we rescind the hiring freeze that was put in place 2 meetings ago through the end of the fiscal year, ending June 30th. Discussion on the motion. Discussion on
May
the
I
motion.
offer a friendly amendment, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Underwood? If it would be for just these positions, because we're just going to do this one time and not do it anymore? Or you want to just lift it totally?
I think, I know we say that, I'd just like to lift it totally and we'll just
Just one day.
deal with it at each
Deal
of
with
the...
it as a-
Further discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, vote by saying aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Nay.
We'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Black, how do you vote?
Nay.
Mr. Taylor?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye.
Mr. Seeley?
Nay.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
And I vote nay.
Motion dies.
Motion dies.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to...
Second motion in, since the 1st of January, since we're with the 6-member board that has died. Mr. Thomas.
I'd like to offer a motion that we keep the hiring freeze, but allow the Commissioner of Revenue, the Sheriff, and the Economic Development Office to fill their part-time or full-time positions as referenced in this memo that we received. So it's just these positions and it wouldn't be continuing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Underwood, and you heard the motion that we keep the hiring freeze in place with the exception of
$10,000.
the Sheriff's Office, Commissioner Revenue's Office, and Tourism and Economic Development Office. Discussion on the motion. Let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Black, how do you vote?
Nay.
Mr. Taylor?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye.
Mr. Seeley?
Nay.
Mr. Thomas?
I vote aye.
And I vote nay as well. Motion's dead because of a tie vote. All right, the hiring freeze will stay in place by the fact that there was no vote in favor of changing it. I think staff, you probably have the answer on that.
We saved $10,000.
Next item on the agenda, I think we can handle in the
we take
next
a break?
10 minutes. I don't know if anything else we can
let's
take
take a
care of.
break. Let's take a
All right, the board will take a 15-minute break. The Caroline County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. The next item on the agenda is the public comment period. If there's anyone that would like to address the board on any issue, please come forward and give us your name.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Skip Smith, and I'm the president of Caroline County's Habitat for Humanity. This evening, I'm here for one sole purpose, and that's to ask for some relief, or ask for the relief of the cost of the sewer connection to our property in Dawn. That's the $15,500 that Habitat would have to pay to connect the sewer to the home to the sewer line in Dawn. The house hasn't been built yet, but we'd like to have that money in our treasury as opposed to paying it out and then requesting having it returned to us. The purpose being is, although we have about $107,000 in the treasury, if we were to have to pay that, we'd be using at least half of that to connect the sewer, put in a VDOT entrance, put the sewer line in and a well before we even started building the house. I don't know what the house is going to cost, and I do not know, it's about an 1,800 square foot house, I do not know what we would get in donations from companies like Home Depot or Lowe's. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me, I spoke with Mr. Smith today and asked that he come and talk to the board in public comment period, and I spoke to Frank Lehman several weeks ago, probably
Yes, sir.
close to a month ago, and Frank is also a member, certainly.
Yes, he's chairperson or one of
yes.
the committees.
And so I believe this board, if my recollection serves me correctly, this board has made this type of change for the Habitat for Humanity homes that are being built in the past. I believe that was one in Ladysmith, right there at the Madison Elementary School that was built, and I believe that was may not have been water and sewer, because well, the water and sewer is right across the road, so it may have been the water and sewer that was provided to this home at a reduced price, and it may have been even at no cost. I don't recall. Mr. Fincham, do you recall, or Mr. Cheeble, do you recall how that process worked for those homes in the past for Habitat for Humanity?
No, sir, I don't, Mr. Akers. I do know that that house is connected to water and sewer, but I'm not sure what the fees that were paid at that time. We can look into that.
I don't believe there were any fees at all, or if they were very reduced fees that was paid for the house. This house, I believe, is being built in Dawn.
Yes, sir.
And would be hooked to the new system in Dawn,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
assuming.
Correct.
That is in place there in Dawn. Again. Do I?
Is this part of phase one or phase
Just,
two?
well, yeah, Mr. Shebel, is this part of phase one or phase two of the Dawn system?
It'd actually be part of phase one.
Okay, so
And
it's
would
an
just like to clarify the $15,550, and that's 3,350, somewhere around there is the actual availability fee. The rest is the actual cost to the county to install the tank, the electrical, and all the fittings. So there is real money at stake if you were to waive the $15,550 and not just the availability fee. But it is in phase one.
All right, so you're saying that the availability fee is about $3,000?
About 32, I don't have the exact number. It just changed, and I don't know what that number is. But that's the availability fee. The rest of that's the actual connection fee, because we have to put a tank in, we have to put pumps in, we have to run a line from the house to the tank. Typically, we would remove the old tank. This one doesn't have that. But the rest of that money is really the cost of the doing the connection itself.
Okay, so it would be out-of-pocket expenses, okay. All right, Mr. Smith, what the board will do after we've closed the public comment period, we'll certainly amend the agenda to add this item under new business, and we'll discuss it and see what direction we would want to go. I support something like that, but
Thank you, sir.
We've just got to do as a board. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board on any issue?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is George Parker. I live in the Mattaponi voting district. And I'm not even here to complain about anything tonight. I would like to talk with you briefly about perceptions. 2 or 3 weeks ago, you voted to increase the personal property assessment rate, and then went on to say it was not a tax increase. Based on the people who commented here and commented in the paper, I believe the perception was different than what you said during the meeting following that vote. Tonight you have an agenda which was published in its entirety on your website, except for the budget. Except for the budget. I don't know why the budget was not published. I'm not even going to ask why the budget was not published, but again, it's a perception. Why would the entire agenda be available on the website, but the budget is not available for public review on the website? Again, it's all a matter of perception. With all due respect, gentlemen, I believe that you need to ensure that your words match your actions. If you're not careful, soon perceptions become reality. And I don't think any of you want that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board on any issue? Is there anyone else who would like to address the board on any issue? Is there anyone else who would like to address the board on any issue? Hearing no further comment, public comment period is closed. Mr. Pardon, if you would address the issue about the budget not... the budget is on the agenda, Mr. Parker, and I suppose you're talking about the entire budget book. Is that what you're speaking of?
Not available for review on the website.
Yeah, it's probably right.
We can just put it on the website. Right.
Mr. Pardon? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, the reason for that is we traditionally do not make the budget available until after it is officially presented to the Board of Supervisors tonight. Tomorrow it will go up on the website in its entirety.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is item number 6, which is...
You want to add...
Yeah, if you would, please. There's a motion to add to...
13A. Mr. Chairman, make a motion we add agenda item 13A, which would be the discussion of connection fee relief for the Habitat for Humanity.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Motion made by Mr. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Seeley. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion is carried, and we will... All right, item number 6 under public hearings, special exception 06-2011, Brathwaite Amber Baker, request a special exception permit in accordance with Article 17, Section 13, Standards for Special Use Permits. Mr. Fincham.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, your public hearing tonight is SPEX 06-2011 for Amanda Baker Braithwaite, owner and applicant, who's requesting a special exception permit in accordance with Article 17, Section 13, and Article 4, Section 5.11 of the zoning ordinance on tax map 16-A-108, which consists of approximately 1 acre of land. The applicant is requesting a special use permit for an adult home. The 2030 comprehensive plan identifies this area as being in the agricultural preservation district. The applicant is requesting a special exception permit to allow an assisted living facility / adult home in an existing 3-bedroom residence on Macedonia Road. Home is located on a 1 acre lot and is served by a 20-foot deeded right-of-way. It's the applicant's intent to provide living arrangements in the application for up to 5 adults who are ambulatory but who do not require around-the-clock medical attention. This will not be a group home for mentally or physically handicapped individuals, but would be providing housing opportunities for individuals who no longer can take care of themselves or live alone due to age or other physical impairments. Staff would be on site 24 hours a day to provide assistance to these facilities, but would not actually reside at the residence. The applicant will not be offering transportation to or from medical appointments, but would assist the residents in coordinating with other agencies for those services. The number of individuals allowed to reside in the facility will be determined by a combination of requirements set forth in the Uniform Statewide Building Code, Virginia Department of Health regulations, and the Department of Social Services. After discussion with the building official and others, we've actually coalesced around a maximum number of 3 occupants at that facility. Under Health Department regulations, you could be allowed up to 6, but with the other regulations that have to be met, we're actually coalescing around a maximum figure of 3 occupants together with supervisory personnel. Planning Commission held a public hearing on this request at its November 16, 2011 meeting. There were no comments either in favor of or opposition to the request. However, the Commission did ask for some supplemental information, which was provided prior to their December 14th meeting, at which time they unanimously forwarded this request to the board with a recommendation subject to the 7 conditions that are attached in your staff report. And with that, I'll answer any questions that the board may have.
Board have questions of Mr. Fincham before we open the public hearing. Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Fincham, in our packet, we have a photo of the parcel.
Yes, sir.
And then the next sheet is a picture of a house.
Yes.
The parcel has nothing on it.
Actually, there is a small house on the parcel.
Is that the house you're showing?
Yes, sir. And if you see the picture next door, the picture behind that, it shows it's a small, approximately 900 square foot rambler.
Okay, so that is the house in the bottom of the parcel?
Yes, sir.
Under the trees? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And that's the house that the subject property will be?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure because I didn't think that was a house, but now that you said so, I can imagine it is. Okay, thank you. That was it.
All right. Other questions of Mr. Fincham before we open the public hearing? Mr. Black?
How many bathrooms is this? I didn't see it in there. Maybe I missed over it, but I was wondering how many bathrooms. It's 3 bedroom. Is it 3-2, 3-1? Just 1 bathroom.
The health department actually regulates by bedrooms, not the number of bathrooms.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions of Mr. Fincham? All right. Hearing no questions from staff, we'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the board on this issue, Please come forward, state your name and your voting precinct.
Hello, my name is Amanda Baker. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. And I am in the process, upon approval, I can't move forward with my state application process until I'm approved through the county to start a group home on behalf of my father. And he passed back in April of 2011 of cancer. And as I was going through my journey with him, I just really saw a need in the area for homes to meet the needs of people as they decline in their health with whatever issues. And age really doesn't matter. So I'm in the process of establishing the Baker Legacy Home in Woodford, Virginia, 7209 Macedonia Road.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to this special exception request? Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to the special exception request? One last call. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to the special exception request? Hearing no further comments, the public hearing is declared closed. Board members, do you have any questions of staff, comments, or how do you wish to dispose of this issue?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Taylor.
I happen to be familiar with this residence. It's located in my district.
Right.
I know that the area surrounding this is family. The Baker family, a well-known family in that area. And as Ms. Baker has said, there is a need for this type of operation. I don't see it creating any issues. There are no people who seem to have an issue with it. Now, there are some concerns about the fact that maybe it's one bathroom, maybe as opposed to two, but I think that the health department is pretty specific in its requirements. So if the facility does not meet the necessary demands, I'm pretty sure that it will be dealt with through the state and the health department and so forth. So,
Can I ask a question before you make your motion?
yeah, okay. But having said that, I think it's a good thing. I think it'll be beneficial to those adults who need that type care. And the final thing I would say is anyone who knows anything about adult care, it is very expensive. And probably these types of things are going to be the only means by which some adults will receive the kind of care that they need. So, having said that, if there are other...
Mr. Thomas, you have a question?
Mr. Fincham, may I ask you a question, please? And as you walk up, I'll give you a little perspective. There's a phrase that I've heard and didn't understand till I got older, but it's once a man, twice a child. If this were a daycare facility, how many children would they be allowed to put in there based on the daycare rules that we normally have?
We have several sets of daycare rules. Okay, there's a family day home which, under state regulations, allows, it used to be 6, excluding the caretaker's children. I believe that number has actually been increased. But realistically, you could have a much greater number of children in daycare in a comparably sized house than you can under these sets of regulations.
Okay. And I say that only because I've kind of experienced what Ms. Baker's mentioned with my father-in-law, and you watch as they get older. Aside from the fact that they can't run around like 4-year-olds, pretty much the care is the same thing. So if you're looking at 5 being the maximum, that would be far less than what we would normally allow in a daycare facility.
Yes, even under the definition of a family day home, which does not require a special use permit from the Board of Supervisors, the number is actually greater.
Could I ask Ms. Baker one question? Ma'am? And I noticed in your application you said there'd be no transportation to and from you are going to staff this with nurses or?
Yes,